Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Brahmanandam Paramsukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasya Laksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om. Adoration to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasistha, Upashama Prakarana. And in this section 5, Sage Vasistha is presenting the essential outline of the entire spiritual process, highlighting the potentiality of the soul. The soul is Brahman, and Aham Brahmasmi. That attainment, not in words, but in experience. I am Brahman is easy to say. It's not so easy to convince your mind. But even if you convince your mind and become mentally settled, I am Brahman, still it is not the goal. The goal is realization. If it is settled in your mind that you are going to sleep and therefore you will slumber, no matter how convinced you are, actual sleep is a different experience. I'm jokingly explaining. O aspirants, listen to the essence of all teachings, all religions. When the self is not known by you, it creates misery and affliction. If ignorance dominates your mind, then your soul is being led by your ego. And ego is a monkey that you have tamed it for entertainment. Raga and Dvesha, attachment and hatred are these two legs, feet of the monkey that twine your neck, because you keep the monkey on your shoulder. And the monkey entwines your neck by the raga, dvesha, attachment and hatred. So, your mind is trying to secure what you are attached to, but at the same time mind is engaged in moving away from what you don't like. But then you get into a confusion. What you like has gone into a whirlwind. So you don't know how to get it. What you dislike also has gone into a whirlwind. So you don't know how to dispel it. And as long as the self is not known, known means realized, you are in that predicament of being led by monkey mind. Just as gold that has fallen into mud remains uncontaminated by the mud and can be removed from it. Now this is a message of hope, that no matter how miserable your predicament, the I am in you is like gold. The monkey that has created I am-ism that has created mud. But all the mud created by this egoism cannot contaminate the gold. The real I am is never contaminated. So, the idea is now how to take the mud out. How to turn your mind nirmal, free of impurities. Then you become normal. The real I am. That's normal. The self has fallen into the muddy illusion of the 5 sheaths and 3 bodies. This illusion must be wiped clean of all its impurities by the practice of discrimination, which means vichar, reflecting upon who am I? Seeing the difference between the self, which is the reality, and the not self, that is not real. How to figure out who am I? A reflected sun is in that predicament. First it figures out that if I were in a different bucket, I will be better. So it goes on jumping from one bucket to another and creates bucketful problems. Until it comes to have a deeper insight. I am the sun. So I don't need to go into buckets to be comfortable. I should be staying what I am. With uplifted arms, I am declaring at the top of my voice. See, Vasishtha was addressing the Rama, but he was also addressing the people around him. At this stage, he lifted his arm like that. I'm declaring at the top of my voice that it is this sinful mind, not simple mind, sinful, which has brought about the erroneous predicament of bondage for the self, which in truth is ever free. The mind has conceived this notion of bondage. So, through that mind, you come to realize, discover that you are not in bondage. The sun is never trapped in any pot. It is not dependent on any water. The sun is ever free. And when the mind has come to that type of revelation, then mind is not needed anymore. So-called manonash, mind just. Sun doesn't need to display itself in the earth planet. Therefore, endeavor to destroy this mind. When you say destroy the mind, you have to understand properly. Mind is like a cloud. A cloud goes on refracting. First it stops the sun. You don't see anything if it is too dense. Next stage, cloud refracts the light of the sun. Rainbows are created, many other illuminations arise. Cloud itself begins to develop reddishness and some other colors. And third stage, if your mind begins to develop progress on the path of yoga, mind becomes gradually free from impurity, free from distraction, and develops clarity. Then it's just like the sun that has started pouring through a certain portion, certain area of the cloud that has given a little passage, a hole. Once the sun starts pouring through the cloud itself that was obscuring the sun, now that cloud is becoming more colorful, more ornamental. So now comes to a stage, the mind wants to have more light. Other clouds tell it, if you do that, you will be done with. Cloud doesn't care. It is such a joyous thing, light flowing through it. The cloud chooses to be in ecstasy, ultimately in samadhi, ultimately nirodha, absolute wiping out. The whole process is a process of jivan mukti, attaining liberation. You view your mind not as a burden. Your mind becomes a basis for Godward movement. Now Vasishtha also gives you an understanding of how profound is this topic and how difficult is that attainment. You cannot make it democratic. You can't choose for the majority of people to become enlightened. Although I repeatedly declare this truth, there are only a few who will actually heed to my teaching. For countless people, it goes in 1 year, passes through the other. And among those countless, it goes through the 1 year and comes out with poison through the other year. Because when they convey that to others, what you heard in a lecture on Vedanta. Now you tell your friends that never go to that ashram. The word is false. All the earthly we have done, and that man says, you can't take it with you. So you didn't listen to Vedanta, but you didn't understand it. You twisted it. So, in all satsanga projects, the Upanishadic wisdom is presented to the masses freely. There is a tradition where in old style people wanted to be very careful. Only the suitable aspirants should come. But that in itself was based on ignorance. Because you cannot look at the face of people and determine who is suitable and who is not suitable. Or by age. On the other hand, also to understand the divine teachings are like the solar energy. Sun shines over all. Who is going to be more nourished or who will not be, that will depend upon different people. Satsanga opens the door to all these teachings without any restriction. Therefore, in King Dasharatha's hall, all types of people are there. In the storyline, even the birds were listening, and many of them attained enlightenment. The mind that lies buried like a turtle in the mud of egoistic desires cannot be benefited by the light of the sun. Sun is pouring down its light, but then there is a turtle inside the mud. Has no idea there is a sun. Same way, profound wisdom blows in the wind. If you become spiritually sensitive, then you realize the entire world is displaying the glory of God. The world around you. And to your own body, every little nail in you, every little hair is telling you the glory of God. Every cell, every muscle, every nerve, every bone, all these are beyond the grasp of your intellect. They are in the hands of God. And they are constantly drawing through cosmic energy, shaping themselves in a way that your soul can evolve. All that is going on. But what you are looking for is what the news tells. No. I'm giving a very simple but little confounding situation. The idea is, allow your mind to become well disciplined by satsanga, by good spiritual taste. As sensitivity develops, you find every situation can give you a source of inspiration. And it will give you patience and endurance even in difficult circumstances. Because you know the truth. Sun has disappeared, but you know it is not dead. Adversity makes the sun within you as if vanished. If your mind is not spiritually trained, then you consider it, I am perished. Not going to perish, I'm just perished. I'm joking. But touched by satsanga, the mind, no matter how things happen, the mind holds in a little space a very secure understanding that no matter how things are, I am that am I. The mind that lies buried like a turtle in the mud of egoistic desires cannot be benefited by the light of the sun. Nay, even if 12 suns were to blaze forth, still the turtle would remain enveloped in darkness. In the same way, the mind of worldly persons remains enveloped in the darkness of ignorance in spite of the luminous teachings of the sages. The spiritual teachings are also available. All the Vedic scriptures, the teachings, Vedas, and all saints and sages from all over the world, their teachings are there recorded. People don't take advantage of those teachings. And even if they become involved in going after the teachings, they develop narrow-minded view. If you have read one type of teaching, just bhakti, now you don't want to read anything that calls jnana. You read a literature glorifying God as Krishna. Then you don't want to go after any literature that glorifies him as Rama. I'm just giving a simple idea. Here is a whole world constantly seething with trouble in the name of the religion. Nothing has been more of a curse to humanity than misunderstood religion. It is in the night of ignorance that the spirit slumbers on the bed of body identification. The idea I am the body is absolutely in the state of dull-wit mind. Science has opened the mind to understand so many things. But science does not point out the importance of understanding your own identity. Who am I? Rather, everyone is led by the idea, I am the body. And that was the date I was born, and now this is my birthday. Again, I'm just joking, but the idea to understand body identity is a terrible disease for the soul called bhava vyadhi, disease of the world process. And so much mental energy gets involved with body identity. When we say body, you are not referring to just physical body. You are referring to three bodies. Body, physical. The subtle body is your mind, intellect, ego. All together goes to form your subtle body. And also your pranas, vital forces. And you are constantly identified with physical body or subtle body. And the causal body is deep unconscious that holds impressions, samskaras. All these three bodies are operating at every moment. When you are hearing it, your mind refers back to certain past recollection. The unconscious provides you with those subtle impressions. Your subconscious operates, and you are also aware of your physical body. All the three awareness is mixed up in your personality. The idea is not to separate yourself physically, you can't do that. Awaken your spirit with the help of spiritual enquiry and bring about the cessation of the body idea, called dehadhyas, identity with the body. And in the plan of yoga, the plan of religion, in the true sense, which is integral yoga, the body identity must move away. Simple point, if body is you, then what is your body? Body is inseparably related to the world of matter. Cabbages, mangoes, roots and fruits. All the minerals, they get into your body. And the body is constantly throwing away into the world. So therefore, if you become really mature thinking, then I am the body, then I am the world from which the body cannot be separated. In three stages, physical body and the whole physical universe, they are in line. Your mental body, your mind, your emotions, they are not just yours. You are tapping it from a cosmic source of all your sentiments, cosmic mind. And similarly, your intellectual function has its own. Your intellect relates to cosmic intellect. And profoundly, your soul is essentially Brahman, the Absolute. The body idea has to be worked upon. With Om Upasana, you are given a very practical guidance. With a aspect of Om, you meditate upon I am the body and therefore I am the cosmic body, cosmic matter. With you meditate upon I am the mind and therefore I am the cosmic mind. As a mind, you are a wave. Cosmic mind is the ocean. So calm your mind and discover your mind is not just a little wave. It's divine behind it. And go further deeper. I'm the causal body. Causal is a state of unconscious. But the unconscious that is operating in the entire world is God, Ishvara. So I am relating to that cosmic hand that is controlling all. All the three are related to A-U-M, Om. And with the Om it doesn't end. Where Om is completed, a transcendental develops, which is beyond all imagination. That's the fourth aspect. Just as clouds of dust do not taint the sky, in the same way the illusions of the world do not spoil the self. First point to understand, the real I am in you is absolutely secure. The unreal I am is always with problem. The resolution comes by developing bhakti, devotion. Your unreal I am, let it develop a sense of surrender to the cosmic I am. If bhakti begin to develop, then you do not keep yourself constantly burdened by all the problems. By simple understanding that all that you consider problems, they are being handled by cosmic I am. So let him have the headache. I will handle my reality without worrying about all the details. And in doing so, you begin to discover that the more you relax, more your ego becomes calm and transparent, greater is your joy and freedom. So this meant by awaken your spirit with the help of spiritual enquiry and bring about the cessation of this body idea. You will then be ushered into the glorious day of divine realization. Pleasure and pain do not belong to the body, nor they belong to the self. They are products of ignorance. When ignorance is destroyed, there is neither pleasure nor pain. O Rama, behold the miraculous potency of Maya, cosmic illusion. This world is merely an illusory modification of the self. The illusory modification, that term is called vivarta. And that's you constantly hear in Vedantic talks, by the example, snake on the rope. Simple example that can be understood by anybody. There is nothing but rope, and in the absence of clear light, just diffuse light is there. So you don't see the rope as rope. And now your mind suddenly conjures up, it is a snake. The moment it has conjured it up, Your imagination now spices it. So it is not only just their rope, the snake, but it has raised its food. And it has already bitten your pets. And you are going to become the prey. So, pray. Now, if you were to, that type of snake, how do you describe it? It's neither real nor unreal. It's not real as long as you are deluded. Rather, it is real as long as you are deluded. If you are not deluded, then snake never existed. It's absolutely unreal. So that's how Maya is described as anirvachaniya, indescribable. Just as dewdrops do not abide in fire, in the same way this world process does not abide in the self. When ignorance is removed, the self alone is seen as the only reality. The self is beyond grief, delusion, birth and death. Devoid of the distractions of the mind, discover the self that is unaffected by the three gunas, the modes of nature, and their modifications. Thus, knowing, O Rama, become free from grief. Simple message is there. Message behind is, remove mala, vikshepa and avarana. Mala is gross impurity. Anger, hate, greed. When mala is removed by karma yoga, path of action, and yoga sadhana, whatever sadhana you are doing, all that is involved in removing, sublimating mala. But as impurity begins to move away, you become aware of immense source of energy expressing through your mind, and you don't know what to do. That's called vikshepa, distraction. And if you become more spiritually mature, then you don't fall for vikshepa, don't fall for that distraction. You try to control it by devotion, bhakti, by dhyana, meditation. And finally, avarana, veiling. This is easier to understand when you follow the example of a mirror. You have to see your face in a mirror. Three obstacles they are there for you to see the face in a correct way. One, if the mirror is full of dust, that's called mala. Mirror is your mind. If it's full of dust, you are not seeing your face. Without even seeing it, I know what am I. When mala begins to move away and begin to see yourself, and with surprise, how much you didn't know about your own self and your possibilities. With that surprise, and your hand begin to shake. You control it by meditation and bhakti devotion. And when Vikshepa moves away, now you are waiting for a shocking surprise. Seeing your face in the mirror in the light of truth. And that is so shocking that your hair suddenly come down on your eyes. Your head just bangs down. That's called avarana, veil. So, mala, vikshepa and avarana. 3 obstacles are overcome if you follow the right course of spirituality. You follow religion in the profound way. This is the whole process. Mala, vikshepa, avarana. And end up with, I am, that am I. You are the all-pervading self. You are the homogeneous essence abiding in all names and forms. Remember how quickly it is being said. And people hear it and then, this is, if you are told that we are going to win a lottery of $90 million, it will be a shocking surprise. But you are told that all that you see in the world, you are everywhere, up in the Mars, beyond all in the Milky Way, even light that comes millions of years away, you are there. And you are there in every little item of this world. You are permeating, absolute permeating reality. But one is unable, it's not easy to handle it. First point to handle, that all that you are experiencing through your mind is not controlling you. When you go to sleep, all that you are experiencing through your mind, along with your conscious mind, moves away from you. So you are in no way dependent upon all this universe, past, present and future. So, and sleep gives you that understanding. You can stay out of all. But then learn lesson from the sleep, because just sleeping is not the answer. Come to a state of understanding that what happens to that I am, that enjoys absolute freedom from time, space, causation. What happens to that I am when you are in daily life? And your mind has to come to a maturer understanding through spiritual sadhana, that no matter how you are engaged, no matter how your body, mind, senses operate, the real I am in you is absolutely untouched, unaffected. That I am is the source of bringing out all divine virtues. And that I am is the source of all, behind all the saints and sages. Having removed the veil of ignorance, having brought about the termination of desires, having mastered the mind and senses, having transcended the cares of the world, possess an intellect that is steady and become free from grief. That's the briefest statement. Attain enlightenment, become sthita prajna, be rooted in spiritual wisdom. That's your goal. O Rama, the real you is higher than the Himalayas, vaster than the ocean, the universe. Now coming to real you, your identity. You are higher than the Himalayas. You don't have to think of, oh, when will I go up for an adventure and climb a big hill. And how wonderful it will be. Or when will I place my feet on the moon? You must realize you are bigger than the moon, vaster than the Milky Ways. That glory of glories is the identity of every individual, every soul. You are vaster than the universe. Without the tension of accepting or rejecting, living a life of utter self-effacement. These are the steps implying allow your mind not to be burdened by raga, dvesha, attachment and hatred, by constantly reflecting upon who am I. If the big I am showers its rays over your mind, and the mind will not go on holding to the past or future. It stays awed in the here and now. And that brings about self-effacement in a progressive movement. O Rama, enjoy the fulfillment of desires in the self in the same way as the ocean enjoys its own surging waves. In other words, fulfillment is not based on fulfilling your desire. Fulfillment is based upon understanding all your desires are illusory. Whatever you are desiring to become is in the realm of ignorance, because you don't have to become anything. Sun does not have to become anything in this earth planet. It cannot glorify itself by reflections. All karma-based attainment is becoming process. You are in a miserable state, led by karma, you become more fortunate. Led by bad karma, you become degraded. So you are always becoming through karma. And you are always creating the desire, when will I become perfectly satisfied? And that is an unending process. because you do not have to become, just realize, who am I? Since this entire world is illusory, there is nothing to be desired. All this is from the advanced stage, that's the goal. But in the process of attaining the goal, there are many steps. You have to desire to be desireless. Assert the true and taintless nature of the self. Assert means, even though you are not completely clear, but open the window of your faith and subtle sensitivity of what is the truth. Faith-based understanding captures the truth, even though your intellect is not ready to describe the truth. So that's called assert, affirmation. That's important in sadhana. O Rama, perform your duty as a would-be king. And when you acquire the throne, rule over your kingdom for a long, long time with the spirit of righteousness. Another point, generally people develop the picture that since I am Brahman, the world is Maya, so I end up with having nothing, just find a little leafy hut. And that's the picture of perfection. Not so. Healthy understanding of wisdom, enlightenment allows you to, whatever role your karma has placed in your body, if you have been royal, kingly, someone who can lead and control and handle many responsibilities, through enlightenment you will continue doing so in a profound way. If you have been, whatever has been your swadharma, you will continue doing. If you are a teacher, you will continue teaching. Your practical life will continue led by your prarabdha, your karmic process. Only thing will happen now that whatever you are doing, you will go viral. It will become a source of inspiration to everybody. King Janaka, his story is also coming soon. He attained enlightenment, but he didn't find his kingdom and ruling the kingdom an obstacle. It was just like a flower, it doesn't find contradiction with wafting fragrance. Though performing actions, you will not be entangled in the world process. Section 6. Gradual ascent towards liberation. Sage Vasishtha continued, O Rama, those who perform action in accordance with the ethical conduct enjoined in the scriptures and without any egoistic sense of actorship are liberated in life. That's what. Actions continue if you are enlightened, but only thing will happen, you will not create the illusion, I am the doer. People will glorify you, how many things you have done, but to a saint, all that, he is just a channel of the cosmic self. All the praise does not inflate the ego. If it inflates, then there is an error in your enlightenment. Those who, having attained human birth, do not perform actions with the spirit of detachment, continue to rise and fall intermittently. Talking about masses, people who are not pursuing the path of wisdom, they rise to heavenly worlds as a result of their good karmas. Their dream is to become very prosperous. And the world gives you a big range. You can be as not only a human being, the masses human being is the ultimate height of evolution. But the scriptures open the idea that there are subtler beings. And those subtler beings, they are not subtle in themselves. Just like you are visible personality to each other. But subtler beings, human beings, are not visible. I'm giving you a broad way to understand. And neither you are able to see those subtler beings. That's one way to understand. Another way to understand that even in human beings, some human beings are so advanced that they are not a human being, they are a deva, a god, or they are gandharvas. Whichever way, try to understand that there are so many possibilities for the soul. But no matter how many things you have done, if you have not attained, you are not following the path of enlightenment, then all this is perishable, all this is a wastage. Following the course of karmas, actuated by selfish desire, they are born again and again in different classes of beings. But rare are the souls who, having attained purity of mind and having broken the chain of craving, by the force of wisdom attain liberation. And with this I'll conclude. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukum Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshiyamamritat Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukha Bhag Bhavet Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Ramaya Namah Om Namah Shivaya.